Welcome back, fellow Patriots, to another episode of Patriots of the American Republic. Tonight we've got a special guest joining us from a year ago, the one and only, the great Adam Francisco. Adam, how you doing tonight?
What's going on? How are you, Carlos? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's good to have you back, man. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you. Did you put those balloons on me?
No, not at all. I thought you did
Where
that.
the hell did that come from?
I don't know. I thought you did that. That's crazy.
No, how did that happen?
I didn't do it.
Wow,
There
look,
it goes again.
the peace sign triggers the balloons.
Oh, man. That's crazy. Wow.
That's crazy. I'm going to keep doing that during the show.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Keep on going with it. So listen, the reason I brought you on here is a very specific, reasoning, right? So since the massacre of October 7th, there have been like two things that have surprised me based on, prior attacks that Hamas has done on Israel. One is the apparent support that Hamas is getting from the left. And the second is that the divide that the support has caused within the left, since there's, a very strong Jewish presence within the Democratic Party. Now, I mean, it's undeniable that a large majority of the Democratic Party is Jewish here in this country. So you being raised Jewish, I wanted to get you to come onto the show and basically get your take on everything that's going on in the apparent rise on anti-Semitism. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, for your audience, just so they know who I am, I was born in Mexico. So I guess if you look back at my biological parents, they probably would have been Catholic or Christian, right? But I was adopted at birth because my biological mother was single. But thank God she was Catholic, because that's why I wasn't aborted. Because, as Catholic people, you don't abort your babies. So they put me up for adoption, and I did. I was raised by a Jewish mother in New York and a Christian father, also from New York. So I was raised Jewish in terms of up until my bar mitzvah. So what that meant was I celebrated Hanukkah, I celebrated Christmas, I went through all the Hebrew school to get to my bar mitzvah when I was 13. And after that, I have not really been back to synagogue. I'm not religious at all anymore. I don't practice religion, as you know, Carlos. But I'm still proud to be Jew because that's how I was raised. And I did go through the religious ceremony of bar mitzvah. So yes, I'm Jewish. I've never been to Israel. You have. So I know that you also have a connection to Israel more than I do. But I just want to start by saying, as a Jewish American, I do have ancestors on my great-grandmother's side that were killed in the Holocaust. She had brothers and sisters that disappeared, vanished, were kidnapped in the dark of the night, never seen again. So we can all pretty much assume what happened to those people, which is pretty horrible. So it does affect me personally because it is in my family history. So I do believe in Israel's right to exist. I will defend Israel's right to exist. I understand that there's 3,000 years of history in that region. And I always find it interesting when these liberals point to 1948 as if that's when history starts. That's not when history starts. History goes back thousands of years. With that said, I also want to say that I am against the death of anyone innocent on both sides, both Palestinian as well as Israeli lives. The biggest challenge, though, is, from my understanding, and again, I could be misinformed here, but I don't think I am, a lot of Palestinian people are indoctrinated at birth to hate Jews. They are inundated with this messaging from television to kid shows to music. I also understand, though, that kind of like what happened with the U.S., when you go in and bomb a country like we did with Iraq, you're going to end up killing parents. And those kids, when they become of age, are going to hate you. I also said that, I stand with all innocent lives on both sides. The problem is, though, Palestinian people are indoctrinated from birth to hate Jews, right? I also think it's a combination of, in war, people die. So when you have these young kids watching their fathers, their uncles, their brothers, their sisters dying in a war, they are going to hold vengeance and hatred towards the country that they perceive did it. So it's a very complicated situation. I do stand with Israel. They have a right to defend themselves completely and fully. And I blame Hamas for most of what's happening right now in the region. They basically know that when they attack Israel, that they are undermanned. We all know this, right? Israel's a much more powerful country. So if Hamas is going to attack Israel knowing that they're attacking a bigger, stronger opponent, and then they're going to use their own people as human shields. You're the one who caused the problem. You are at fault, Hamas. And I'll say this: October 6th, we had a ceasefire, and look what happened. Hamas violated that, and they threaten every day that if there's another ceasefire, they'll continue to attack Israel until it's gone. So it's very challenging for Israel. They have a right to destroy Hamas. They have a right to defend themselves. And it's just a mess situation. It's really messy. And I get a lot of feedback on my channels. People say I don't talk about it enough, about the war. Again, that's because there's so much propaganda on both sides. I don't know what's true, what's false. All I know is Israel has a right to defend itself. And what happened October 7th was horrible. So that's just a little overall about how I feel about what's going on.
Well, a lot of things that you said there that I would really like to unpack. I think the first thing that I would like to unpack is the support, the deceptive support that the Palestinian people are getting. And I say deceptive because, again, these people are masquerading themselves to be supporting Palestine when they're openly calling for the extermination of Jewish people. That, to me, you're more aligned with Hamas than you are with the Palestinian people, right? You're more aligned with the terroristic group at that point, right? So the first thing I'd like to do is get into this video that I have here. Let me go ahead and share that. Let's try that. There we go.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we can see this was a post from Fox News. We've got here the students. They're holding up a sign that says, "By any means necessary." And they're pretty much almost all masked. We got a couple here that are unmasked. What does this mean to you when you see this sign that says "By any means necessary"?
I mean, yeah, they're pretty much openly justifying the attacks on October 7th. That's pretty much what they're doing. They have this belief that Palestine is being oppressed by Israel.
Right.
Now, the reality is there's a lot of Arabian people that live in Israel.
A lot. Yes, I can confirm that.
Israel is open to giving visas to Gazans, right? Israel provides water, Wi-Fi, aid to Gaza all the time. A lot of people that live in Palestine, when it was occupied by Israel in before 2006, a lot of them say things were better back then because you had what I believe, and again, could be wrong, but what I believe is a somewhat caring government. I also find it ironic that a lot of these people in the photo that you're showing me right now, first of all, probably 99% liberal, if not 100%. There's probably a few queer people in this group, non-binaries. There's probably a lot of people of color in this group that I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. And these people would be killed by Hamas if they were to step foot in Gaza, especially the queers, especially non-binaries. I also think that, in general, liberal women, they dress a little bit more provocative than conservative women. We agree with that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Now, if you're a woman living in Gaza or a lot of these Muslim countries, if you show skin, you die. Or you get stoned, you get killed, you get beat, you get raped. All these things can happen to you.
And if you get raped, it's your fault.
Right. So it's also interesting that a lot of liberal women who enjoy the freedoms of America, such as the freedom to wear a tank top or short shorts or show off your midriff, whatever you want to do, these same women would be killed, these same liberals, if they step foot in Gaza. So all of these people that are standing up for Palestine, and when I say that, I mean Hamas, really it's what's happening here. All these people that are standing up for Hamas and their actions and justifying it, they'd be the first to be killed if they were to go there. So you might support the current thing, but the current thing doesn't support you.
Correct. Well said. Well said.
Right. That to me is the greatest irony of all of this. Now a lot of times, because I'm a Mexican immigrant, a lot of people say that because I'm a Trump supporter, it's like roaches. It's like roaches for raid or raid for whatever they say. Roaches for raid.
I've heard that. I've gotten called that myself.
If I were an illegal immigrant, if I were here illegally, then I would agree and say I'm against my own well-being. But because I'm a legal immigrant, because I'm an American citizen, it doesn't apply. Because my Mexican identity is secondary because, first of all, I'm not even a citizen of Mexico. I'm only a citizen of America. I wasn't raised in Mexico. I wasn't raised around Mexican culture. So to me, it doesn't apply. This, however, it does apply. These people are literally roaches for raid. It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, I've gotten told that myself, but I look at it and I try and compare apples to apples. You know, my dad's from Peru, my mom's from Cuba. I've never stepped foot in Cuba, obviously, because it's a communistic country, but I have gone to Peru plenty of times. I've been there 10 times. Most recent was in 2016. I went to Machu Picchu. Now, even though I have Peruvian blood inside of me, I cannot go into Peru illegally. I would get arrested if I did, right? So I look at stuff like that, right? If I were to go to somebody else's country illegally, am I going to get arrested? Yes or no? In every case, it's going to be yes. So why is America the exception? Why is it different? Why am I considered a racist against my own culture or my own Latin people if I oppose illegal immigration? It has to do with lawfulness. I don't care if you're Hispanic. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're Indian. I don't care if you're black. I don't care what you are. If you come into the country illegally, you have violated the law. And I, as an American citizen, I am bound to follow every single law on the book. Why should somebody who's not born here get a pass? You see what I'm saying?
I agree 100%.
So now when it comes to this, my concern is that they're advocating for something. Remember, the left has spent, 6 years calling Trump supporter Nazis and Hitler supporters. And what's a Nazi? What did Hitler do, right? He killed 6 million Jews, right? Nazis are white supremacists. They hated Jews. And yet here, they're the ones openly advocating for the killing of Jews, essentially.
Yeah, there was a video that just went viral a couple days ago. I don't know if you saw. It was this, I guess, coffee shop in Oakland, California, called Farley's East. I'm not sure if you heard about this incident.
No.
But in the bathroom of this restaurant was anti-Semitic graffiti all over the restaurant. And an older woman, she was a Jewish customer, she wanted to go into the bathroom to film the graffiti just to show people this is what's going on in the world. And the 3 employees that worked at the restaurant, Farley's East, it was a white guy, it was a high-calorie white liberal. When I say high-calorie, I mean she was morbidly obese. And then there was a Filipino girl. And all 3 of them were wearing masks. So you already know their political identity with the masks on.
Right.
And they would not allow this Jewish woman to use the bathroom. Now, she wanted to use the bathroom to capture the footage of the anti-Semitic graffiti. But the workers wouldn't let her in. The video is about 2 minutes long. Finally, they do let her in. And she gets the footage she wanted. As she's leaving, all the employees are like, free Palestine, Israelis love to steal private land. That's why you can't use our bathroom. I mean, it's a freaking mess. And it just goes to show what's going on in this country right now, right? That Jew, not even Israelis, we're just talking about Jewish people now, are being targeted, harassed, discriminated against. I was at St. Petersburg Pier today. I did a video today, and I saw a young gentleman wearing a very beautiful Israeli sweater. It was a blue sweater. He's going to be in my video. It's got the Star of David on it. I shook his hand and I said, I want to shake your hand and say that you're very courageous wearing that, especially in St. Petersburg, which, as you know, is extremely left-leaning.
Yep.
And today there was a concert, I think Cape Town or something. I don't know this band. But I swear to God, I felt like I was in Brooklyn because every single person that was there was a white, liberal, hipster, blue hair, facial piercings, weirdos. I've never seen St. Petersburg like this. And it already is liberal. This was like liberal cesspool on steroids. So I gave the guy, I shook his hand. I said, man, you're courageous wearing the Jewish Star of David out now, given the environment that we're in.
Isn't that sad? Like, I've never lived in a time where you could not wear, like a Trump supporting hat, because we experienced that, during Trump, his first administration, where there were people. I remember reading a article where somebody crashed into another car because they had a Trump bumper sticker, which prevented me from putting one on when I went to go see him in Tampa. I got a bumper sticker. I didn't put it on my vehicle because I have small children. If it were just me, I don't care. But I have small children. I wouldn't want some moron to come and hit me, just because I'm a Trump supporter and my kids are in the car. And now we've got, you can't wear Jewish items. You can't be Jew because of what's going on. I mean, this is insane. This is not the type of country or the times that I grew up in. The 80s and 90s were not like this at all.
Yeah, and now, it's Hanukkah. Tonight is the second night of Hanukkah. And I read that a lot of Jews are not putting the menorahs in the window anymore because they don't want to create undue attention to themselves and their religious beliefs. I actually purchased an Israeli flag on Amazon. And I think tomorrow I'll probably bring the flag out, for Hanukkah, the third night, I'll do the flag. And I'll do it in Clearwater Beach. I'll bring out the Israeli flag tomorrow, and I'll get reactions and see what people say. I wish I did that today, actually, because today was the crowd of probably mostly pro-Hamas sympathizers in St. Petersburg. I mean, you look at these people that were there today. When you watch the video, I guarantee you 90% of them pro-Hamas sympathizers. I guarantee it.
It breaks my heart to know that the Jewish people are going through. My Messiah is Jewish, right? So there's my connection, right? My faith deems it. My Bible tells me that whoever supports Israel will be blessed, and whoever doesn't will be cursed. That's plain and simple. And so I, of course, being a Christian, support and stand by Israel. But more so than anything, I stand against terrorism. We were affected 9/11. 9/11 was, we were attacked by Islamic jihadists. And this is, what happened on October 7th is Israel's 9/11, if you will, right? If we do a numbers to comparison, it's probably 3-4 times worse, what happened. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And we know from that what these people are capable of. Now, I cannot imagine, experiencing 9/11 and then within the next couple of days, weeks, months, people are putting up pro-Afghanistan or pro-Al-Qaeda flags and shirts or on their pages or whatever. Like, I can't imagine going through something like that and what the Jewish people are going through right now. It's just, it's terrible, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you said earlier that Jewish people tend to vote Democrat. I think it's about 68% is around the number. So the majority they vote, Democrat. And I really just can't wrap my head around that, why that's the case, when I feel like Republican values align so much more with people that care about Judaism and their religion, right?
Correct.
People that are of faith, people that are of family.
Correct.
People that are patriotic.
Correct.
People that want to be pro-America as well as pro-Israel.
I can tell you why.
You would be a right-winger.
I can tell you why. The reason is that it's just a religious affiliation. It's not a practicing. Most Orthodox Jews would more than likely be conservative. The ones that it's like Catholics. Catholics. Even though Catholicism is a branch of Christianity, you got to think of Christianity as the tree, and all these denominations are branches: Catholicism, Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, et cetera, right? And so what happens is you've got a lot of people that identify as Catholics, but it's just because of their religious upbringing. There's no fruit in their lives. You go out smoking, drinking, drugs, you live like you don't have any type of faith. A religious connection. It's pretty much the same thing. The Jewish community that is left leaning, it's more so of a religious affiliation versus an actual practice and living by it. You know what I mean?
And also, from my understanding, a lot of the Jews live in places like New York and LA. And so by nature of being in a liberal city, those views are going to rub off on you. I mean, I was a liberal for most of my life because growing up in New York, that's just what you are. Everyone around you is that. I never had exposure to conservative views until I was 36, 37. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So,
and here's the funny part is that they've taken that over there to Israel. One of the things that my wife and I were shocked about when we got there, we traveled towards the end of May and going into June, and you know what June month is. So we were surprised to see, the pride flags in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem. Both of these cities are high population, high, tourist, right? So it's like a big city, right? It's kind of like New York, Miami, San Francisco. Any of these big cities, they're left leaning. And so here's Tel Aviv, which is where the airport is. And then you've got Jerusalem, which is a high touristic area. Both of those we saw a lot of left leaning stuff in those two cities.
I do think in general, though, which is a lot of, especially the younger people in Israel, they're all liberals, a lot of them.
Yep.
I mean, you saw the festival. That's kind of like one of the ironic parts. The festival that Hamas attacked on October 7th was a festival for like
peace,
love and peace and freedom and all that
Yep.
stuff. I almost guarantee that audience would have been 90% Democrat liberals in the U.S., the equivalent of there.
Agreed.
Meaning those were the people that would stand for the perceived oppressed people.
Correct. They would, if it hadn't happened to them directly, they'd probably be in this group of protesters here.
Correct.
Yep.
And so it's just like, it just goes to show you that they didn't care about who they don't care about you. They just care if you're Israeli and Jewish, even if you sympathize with them, they don't care. They want you dead.
Yep.
And I just got my first death threat of the year today, actually, on Instagram, which is always exciting to get those. Basically, I've gotten, so first of all, I don't even post a lot about Israel. If you look at my meme page, Be Free My Sheeple, I might have done about 2 Israeli posts, right? I don't talk about a lot because my page is mostly domestic issues. I care more about U.S. domestic issues than I do care about international, right?
Sure.
America first. That's what we believe in.
Right.
So I've been getting a lot of trolls lately asking me why I stopped posting about Israel. I never stopped because I never really started. It's not something that I talk about a lot. But I, put up a post yesterday just because I said to one of my trolls, because of your feedback, I'm going to put up a pro-Israel post now. Fuck you, right? And got death threats after that because I did it. So we know that election season is here when the death threats start coming. It's exciting.
So what was that guy, leftist?
He must be. But he's targeting me because I stand with Israel. He's targeting me for being Jewish. And being Jewish isn't even a core part of my identity anymore. It's not something I really lead with.
Right.
Right? I don't talk about my Judaism. I don't talk about Israel too much. It's probably 5% of my political identity,
right,
at most. And this guy is targeting me purely based on my Jewish identity, which isn't that, big of a deal. It's not that big in my life. It is what it is. And it's just really sad that this is these people that they're giving death threats because I'm Jewish.